Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle is one of the most fun and addicting games we've had in quite some time. But damn, is that freaking game annoying. And on this video, I'm joined by DFree as we give you 10 annoying things about Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle.
Lord Frieza demands that you subscribe to this channel and follow Mr. Geekdom on these social media platforms.
When I got into Dokkan Battle a few months ago, it was kind of hard to understand and hard to pick up, but once I figured the game out, it became one of the more fun games that's been around for a while. It's a simple game once you figure it out, but also difficult to master. And of course, like with every game, you're going to be annoyed, but there are certain things about Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle that we feel are really annoying, and on this video, we're going to give you the 10 most annoying things, and the beautiful thing about it is, these are things that can actually be fixed, that the game designers can fix, and hopefully they will listen to us and do it. Joining me on this video, though, is one of the top Dragon Ball Z Dokkan players, a pro player, which means that he's a pro, I guess, I don't know. Please welcome DFree.
What's up, man? Yeah, they consider me a pro, bro, and that's not the only place they consider me a pro. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that there for you guys.
I'm glad you're adopting that character, bro. But which is based on reality, deeply rooted. The key word, deeply rooted in reality. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, even you, who's a pro player, is probably throwing your tablet or your phone around once in a while at this damn game. So we're going to give people 10 annoying things about Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And you know how it works, folks. He says one, I say one, and we count down our 10. He's got 5, I got 5. Donnie, what is your first?
So, Danny, crap. My bad.
I'm leaving all that in, by the way.
My voice decided to fuck up. Anyways.
More tea.
I know. So, Danny, the very first one on my list is the fact that there's just simply not enough Dragon Stones available to you throughout the normal story mode of the game. Now, if you look at the way that JP works, they basically, over a period of time, add new chapters on, which obviously would include new Dragon Stones. But for a lot of people that are, reluctant to play... For a lot of people that are reluctant to pay and don't really want to pay, they kind of have to get into the situation where they accumulate their stones and then would want to hold on to the stones and wait for better rates in a banner or wait for certain characters. Like I know a lot of people are going to be waiting for Gogeta specifically. But the problem with that is that, they keep releasing all of these new banners out to where you're kind of tempted to continually do the summons. And it's kind of hard to let these stones just sit and accumulate, basically. And if you go by JP standard, where they've already released all this content, the thing is that they're going to continue to release better cards continually to where, say, where you had Super Saiyan 3 Goku as the best character in the game 5 months ago, now he's like top 20, you know what I'm saying? So like things like that to where there's not enough stones to continually satiate the necessity of being able to actually continually summon.
Yeah, when you get done with the story mode, you're kind of screwed in the sense that you have to wait for them to give you free stones or do other special events. I feel like what they should do is either, well, we'll talk about it as we go through the top 10, but I feel like maybe they should allow you to repeat certain events at certain difficulties and maybe get more stones off of that or something. Because once you get the main storyline done, you're right, stones become harder to come by. Now, my first one actually has to do with stones too. Expensive stone prices. I'm choosing to be a free-to-play player and not spend any money. The problem is that there's going to come a time, I'm sure, where I'm probably going to have to spend money on this game. I'm trying to hold off as much as possible, but that may happen at some point. And I feel like the stone prices are a tiny bit too expensive. I think that what they're charging is just not really fair, I think. It's not totally out of control. I just think that, for example, I think that 50 stones should be like $10. I honestly feel that, whereas you get, what, 3 stones for $10? That's just not enough for me. I just don't like that. What do you think?
No, yeah, and I completely agree with you, but that's just the way that freemium gaming works, to, kind of just say so lightly. Basically, with all these different mobile games, they've got their in-game currency, and it's always ridiculously priced. I mean, you look at, the Hunter x Hunter Battle All-Stars game, the gems in that game are ridiculously overpriced. You look at the Bleach game, I forget what it's called right now, Brave Souls. Their freaking spirit orbs are ridiculous, and they take it to another level in the fact that you need like 25 for a single summon. It's like, these games, that's how they make their money. But basically, I feel like all of these games, and this doesn't just apply to Dokkan, could kind of, take it a step back and lower the prices. And I think that would be a good business model, because if you do that, people would be more inclined to basically pay for the game. So
exactly, I would be much more inclined to buy stones if it was cheaper. That's real shit, and I think it's the same for a lot of us. Because remember, Dragon Ball, Bleach, these are like essentially kids and teenagers series. So like
basically.
Not all of them have money, man. You're a high school, college kid. You're broke most of the time. Make it easier on them. Lower the prices. That way they don't have to ask mom and dad for the Visa so often. All right, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be the issues with the length of the World Tournament, and exclusively this is mainly for global version, because the global version is a bit of an anomaly. The way that they handle it, if you look at it now, we've currently got a tournament going on right now, but the rate of the length of that tournament is probably about 4 days long at this point, whereas the previous one, they kind of had some issues with maintenance and stuff like that, where they did maintenance for about half a day. They wound up extending that one to being in about 7 days, while the previous one before that was about like 5.5 days, 6 days, whatever the case is, while JP is basically skating by at 4 days, and their latest one was 3 days. I mean, I don't know what makes them think that we really want longer tournaments. Like, bro, all of us have lives. A lot of us have things to do. We can't consistently play this game nonstop, day in and day out, because that's what you have to do. And this also ties in with the issue with the stone prices, because it's a money grab. The fact that you're forced to play this game nonstop to be competitive in this tournament, if you want to get that ranking, if you want to get a certain card, you have to actually play competitively. And to play competitively, you need to use stones to refill. And to use stones to refill, you need to buy stones. If they're not giving you enough stones through the tourney, or you didn't have enough saved up, you need to buy stones. So it's a cash grab. The longer that this goes on, the more you have to play. The more you have to play, the more competitive you have to be, the more money you have to spend on stones. So honestly, I would just be perfectly fine if things were about 3.5 days. I know there are some people that are kind of like, on the opposite end of the spectrum, to where they have too much going on to where they don't have the time to play. So the longer tournaments are nice, but the vast majority of people would like for this to just kind of skate by.
Yeah, it is too much, bro, because it's just like you said, they want us to literally spend, because the only way to be competitive is to literally spend all day playing this game. Like, you're doing something, you're working on something, you're playing the game on the side. I do it sometimes too. I'll have the game on while I'm editing a video or something. It's just, and sometimes you get tired of it. You just want to take a break. I don't think it's fair. I mean, you're always going to have the same guys on top, and that, to me, kind of turns people off to the game. So I respect that. My number 2 is too much downtime and maintenance. I understand why they do it sometimes, but to upgrade the game. But I feel like it happens way too often. I feel like it's now becoming like 2, maybe 3 times a week with the downtime. And for somebody like me who stays up working the graveyard shift, working late at night, it's down. So obviously somebody who doesn't work that shift is going to have the edge. And to me, it is kind of irritating. That one day where it went down for like 24 hours, that was too much for me. Somebody screwed up over there. Who knows what the hell really happened, but I just feel like it's way too much maintenance and downtime. I feel like they should have their ducks in a row ahead of time, pre-planned, so that way you don't have that much downtime. That's my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. But the only thing that I like about the maintenance and downtime
Free
is the stone that they get.
It's not enough, though. It's not enough if you ask me.
Yeah, in most cases it isn't. But that last time I was like, all right. It was down, a long period of time. They gave 30 stones. I was like, okay, this is nice. But the rates on that banner were crap, though. So it kind of just forced you to waste them. But I agree. I think that this game gets way too much maintenance. Honestly, a lot of other mobile games don't get this much maintenance, to where they basically have to, do 2-3 hours of maintenance once a week or twice a week to kind of implement new stuff into this game. So I think that they just have kind of too much stuff going on. So moving into my next one, we're talking about the power creeps in the game, and the fact that they constantly have to implement new, mechanics into this game, like the Uzaru mode and stuff like that, or they have to implement new, stronger characters in this game to kind of keep it relevant and keep it competitive. I mean, if you look at this game, they've put themselves in a corner to where that's something that they have to do, because if you look at the leader skills, where they're like, they start at, giving a specific type, like strength for Bojack, giving 50%, to where they've got 80% increases with the new Janemba. Like, they kind of have to keep doing this. And then they implement cards like Gogeta, whose maxed out stats go over 10,000. It's like, where does this kind of end? Because you've implemented this to the point where the older events, you can't even bring them back anymore, because people can just breeze through them, because you've released all these brand new, shiny, spanking, amazing, fantastic cards. and it's just kind of getting out of hand. I know that you kind of liken that to like trading card games and stuff like that, Danny,
Yes.
with how they do that in trading card games as well. I think that it's going to continue to keep on going on, whereas right now, Gogeta is the best one in the game, but in 2 months he's going to be obsolete. But they have to do that because if you bring out one strong character, you have to keep on bringing out more strong characters to force people to spend money on stones to summon those other strong characters. So it's a good business model, but at the same time, it's kind of a hassle saying that you're playing this game, and especially if you're a free player, to try to stay competitive once again and relevant within this game where you may have a card that used to be the best, but it's clearly outclassed nowadays.
Well, yeah, like the SS3 Goku that you were talking about, which I have, or the SS2 Vegeta, the red one, great cards, but in a year they might not be worth anything. I think what they should implement is, I like what they're doing with the Dokkan Awakenings, how you can take the older cards and make them stronger. They should do more of that. They should let you take the previous, like the old Bojack, the old SS3 Goku, which is going to happen, like you said, and give them upgrades. That way they can stay competitive, because the one thing about this game that differs from like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or any of that is that it's a digital game, so you can always add enhancements. So the old great cards, the old Bojack, the old Meta Coolers, all these cards that were prominent months ago, if they get new awakenings, they can be, relevant again, and then the player won't feel like he's, has to sell the card or just put him on the back burner, whereas he used to be a great leader. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you because that makes a lot of sense, and that's something that they have been implementing. They've been awakening the original SSR cards in the game. They've done it for Goku. They've done it for Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, and Trunks. That's the only way they can really kind of keep those older cards relevant.
They should keep doing it. My number 3, unfair super bosses, okay? I know a lot of folks had issues with Broly. I thought Broly was a pain, but he wasn't so bad. To me, Cell was the one that was a huge pain, and Kid Buu was annoying, but if you had the Gotenks Fat and Skinny, you could get around that. I think that the bosses are completely overpowered. I understand why they do it, and I'm okay with them doing it once in a while. I just feel like for free players, these cards, you just can't compete. Theo and yourself can sit there and one-shot these bosses with ease, but if you're a free player, you have to scramble for the right cards. And the one thing that irritates me, Donnie, I think, is not so much the difficulty, but the fact that you have to have a specific specialized cards. Like, for example, for Perfect Cell, to diminish his regeneration, you have to have that Trunks or that Android 18. I don't like that because not everybody has those cards. They should at least throw in a couple of common cards or get rid of that mechanic completely, because I feel like it's not everybody's going to have those cards. In fact, some of the cards are almost impossible to get. I still haven't got that 18.
Yeah, no, and that's their way of kind of doing what you said. They're too hard. So what do? They introduce a MacGuffin to where you can kind of take them out, but you need specific cards, and they're not always like the SSR cards, because they do a lot of times allow you to use like the strike characters. Like for example, against Broly, you could use that free King Vegeta, and he'd be able to take him out. But you do need specialized cards to do it. And if you don't want to spend 30 or 40 minutes trying to fight these bosses because they have over 1 million HP.
And spending stones.
Exactly, and using stones to basically revive yourself, you will need those incredible cards to be able to take these guys down. So I completely agree with you.
I feel like maybe they should come up with like an extra tier for pay players and like say like, okay, to enter this, you have to spend 5 stones. Just to enter it, you have to spend 5 stones. But if you die, you have unlimited lives, and also you get a really good reward. I feel like that would be a better method to keep people playing. You know what I mean?
That would be really, really cool, actually. I would actually do that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, your next one.
Awesome. So my next one is the division of time between global and Japanese, or the gap in the time as far as content in the games go. It's kind of weird when you look at these games, because the Japanese version can be kind of interpreted as something of like a source material for the global version, because all they really do from there is, code it back and translate it and whatnot. But they've already got the material basically done, because all they're doing is referencing the Japanese version of the game. But somehow they've chosen to stay, and keyword is chosen, to stay about 4 months back. I know that it's kind of hard for them because
it might be a Japan thing though, just letting you know, because Japan is kind of annoying with that.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I know that, like I was saying, though, that they've got a lot of stuff they kind of need to shoot out, though, to kind of catch up, like all these different banners. But there's other things in the game. That's what kills me. There's other things in this Japanese version of the game that they can implement into the global version right now, as far as application
like
updates.
Like buying from the Baba Treasury?
Yes, yes, something like that. Although that's a little bit different because it comes with the third story mode chapter. But they could even release the third story mode chapter right now as opposed to waiting until it's actually supposed to come out based on when it came out in the Japanese version. But something like, for example, the Japanese version of the game currently has what's considered key orb optimization to where, have you ever played the global version and you're like, oh, I've got a red guy. Oh, there's red orbs. I'm going to hit this rainbow orb, but the rainbow orb follows the yellow path for whatever reason.
It's annoying.
It's so annoying when they do that, but on the Japanese version, it will follow the path that will give you the most key for that character specifically. So, for example, if I have a red guy there first, he'll follow the red path, but there's a yellow path there as well that he could have went down. If I put the yellow guy first, it'll follow the yellow path. So things like that, that's an application update that could actually be available, but is not available at this point. And that's really just bothersome. There's no reason behind that, to my opinion.
No, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that's behind. Also, I really like the fact that in the Japanese version, when Super's on the air, you can
get
you
can
stones. Log in and get 2 stones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of issues as to why we can't do that here. Mostly because it kind of somewhat promotes piracy. But what they could do is whenever Kai is on the air on Toonami, you should be able to log in and get your damn stones. Why not?
Yes.
Right. Same thing. All right. My next one is really bad. Drop rates. Drop rates are the worst thing. When you have to go through a strike event or a special event and you have to beat a boss and get a character card or a medal or something, and it doesn't drop, it is the most annoying. Like, my worst thing is when you're playing some of these bosses and you're using up a stone, which I don't recommend doing, but I've done it in the past, and then you beat them, you finally are victorious, and you don't get the prize. That's bullshit. That is bullshit to me. I think that when you do these missions, you need to have at least an 80% drop rate. That Majin Buu that we just had, that fat Buu, did not drop, and that's nonsense to me. And everybody was telling me, oh, you should get all 10 so you can build up your attack. I don't have time. I don't have time to do that. So, because when you're going through and you're playing it 5 times, you only get 2, you're like, fuck this game. I think that's a major problem, is the drop rate. They need to increase that for real, because really, the entire point of this game is for us to have fun, and it's, you give us the challenge by beating the boss, and we get rewarded. It's bullshit if you beat the boss and don't get fucking rewarded. That's not fun.
No, I agree with you. And they do it too with awakening medals in these events for specialized characters, to where they're saying, oh, you need to do stage 3 for this medal. And then you do it and you beat the level, but you don't get the damn medal. I'm actually doing the Uzaru stuff right now on JP, and I'm trying to get specific medals to awaken the Nappa. And I've done this stage with where you fight like King Kai, which is awesome, by the way. Maybe 8 times. He's dropped the Kaioken Goku medal twice when I need 7. So it's like, what is going on here? I also gave up on Exactly. I also gave up on the Boo, though, because I did it maybe about 35 times and I got 6 of them. I was like, you know what, fuck this, okay?
See,
I'm going to awaken it, bro.
I did it 10 and I got 1.
I kept trying because it was up for a week and a half, and I was like, yeah, just give me the card. Nope. Okay, whatever. Screw it. Just awaken him, whatever. Super attack 7 or 6, whatever. I don't care.
And so, that's what I'm saying, man. That's BS.
Yeah, no, definitely. So my top one here is the leveling of super attacks. When it comes to this game, you know that there's a mechanic to where if your card is exactly as the same as another card, it will give you a 100% chance. If it's the same name, but it's a different card, maybe a different color or rarity or whatever the case is, they give you percentage-wise chances. But something that I really wanted to talk about here is how annoying it is when you get a card and you Dokkan Awaken that card into another card, but the previous card, if you happen to pull it again, in order for it to raise the super attack of the card that you had before that you Dokkan Awakened, you'd literally have to awaken that new card into the same exact card to be able to defeat it to him and get that super attack boost.
Which can take forever.
Exactly, especially when you factor in the fact that you need medals, and we just talked about how hard it is to get these medals sometimes. So that's I understand that once again, they're not the same card because you changed it into a new card, but understand at the same time that it previously was this card, and at the very least, even if it's not guaranteed when it probably should be, there should be at least a percentage, whether it's freaking 1%, at least a chance, but it doesn't give you any sort of chance, and that's really irksome to me.
I mean, either that or just give us more old Kais, because I mean, that's... I think they should, honestly, I think that every time you beat a super boss, you should get at least two old Kais. I think that would be a much better thing for all the players. That way,
oh my goodness,
that way you have a fighting chance, dude. Not every time you beat him, but when you beat him the first time. When you beat, let's say you fight Broly, you beat him the first time, you should get 2 mandatory, I think, because then you feel you can compete. Then you can power up whatever cards you want without having to farm. I actually like farming when they drop, like farming that Mecha Frieza, farming that Piccolo or that King Cold, the yellow yellow ones. Those are fun because they actually freaking drop, you know. But that goes back to the drop rates. They kind of go together, the last two ones that we talked about, because if the drop rates were better, it wouldn't be so bad. But the drop rates are ass, and like you said, you can't combine characters that are obviously linked. How does it make any sense that if I get a fat Boo, same color, I can't fuse them with the Super Boo? That's dumb. Or sometimes you'll have like you'll have SSJ Goku yellow, SSJ Goku blue. You can fuse them, but you can't fuse the one before it. That's dumb.
Makes no sense at all. I don't understand how they do that, but it's not going to change.
My number one, and I think everyone's number one, is the summon pull rates. 7% is considered a good summon rate. Lick my ass, all right? That's bullshit. Like, people spend money on stones and then end up getting, jobbed, essentially. Some of us get real good luck. Some of us don't. Before we started recording this, those color events, you were mentioning how bad they were. I did very well on them. Meanwhile, in this last banner, Dino pulled the God Goku and the Bardock. I didn't pull anything. I pulled garbage. So it's like, I think the summon pull rates are nonsense. I think 7% for an SSR is horrible. I think it should be more like 30-40% because, again, it's about making the game fun. And we're not competing with each other with the exception of the tournaments. So it's like, just let us make the game fun. And then what they should do is if they're going to raise the SSR rates, then you can give us harder bosses. But what they're doing is they're giving us the impossible bosses and crappy SSR rates, so free players aren't going to get shit and can't beat these higher bosses, and they get frustrated. It's like, this game would be so much more fun if they did small tweaks like that. Also, I think what they should do, Donnie, is for every banner, they should have exclusive cards just for that banner and maybe lower the stone rate for just the first summon. That way we have a chance of getting, or raise the rate of the exclusive card. So like if there's a new Gotenks out, you should have like a 70 or 60% chance of getting it versus the same as the other SSRs. That's not fair. Like, that's like, why promote the new card if most people aren't even going to pull it,
Basically, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, but the game in and of itself is basically maneuvering you into having to pay to play the game. They prioritize the money, of course, because they're a corporation, over the enjoyment of the player, and that's a problem too. But I can say that what they are going to implement, because based on JP being like source material once again, is that they basically start bringing out more discounted multi-summons and single summons and stuff like that, to where even if you're a pay-in player, you don't have to pay as much. But I completely can agree with you. 7% is ridiculous, but what kind of makes me a little mad is that they don't even bother to advertise it. They don't even tell you. We only know this because we have people that sit there and re-roll accounts, which is where you start over and over and over for thousands of stones, and then they figure it out. They put the math together. But the problem with this, once again, is that this game, it's got these crazy summon rates. And, a lot of people can't really compete, like you said, basically. It gets out of hand because all that this game does is they implement these stronger and harder bosses that you have to beat, basically. But if you're not summoning good cards, how are you going to compete?
Exactly. Like, if they put out a perfect cell and they say, okay, if you have this Android 18, you can beat this guy, and they don't raise the rates of getting that Android 18, so you're sitting there and you're playing the game, and you can't even pull the card you need to beat him, why even try? Like that, this game can be so much more fun than it already is if they implement these little things, man. It's just a tweaking of the game's programming code and percentages. All you have to do is go in there and change a number, and the game will be more fun. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, basically. That's basically what we wanted to do with this video. Just talk about the things that needed to be changed in the game. So I actually want to know, this is a question to subscribers, actually. I want to know what's something that you guys would change. If you were with Bandai or whoever the developer of this game is, if you walked up to them like, hey, change this shit, what would you tell them to change in the game? That would be an interesting question.
Yes, definitely leave that comment below. And please go check out DFree, top-level Dokkan player. I will leave the link down below to his channel, as well as other content as well, Dragon Ball discussions and Dragon Ball ideas over there on his channel. So go check that out for sure. And of course, there's always Dokkan there too. So you're going to get a perspective of, a more expertly player. And Donnie, you also play the Japanese version and the global one.
Yes, both versions of the game.
Yeah, so head over there. And thank you again for being here, DFree. And thanks everybody for checking out the video. We'll catch you down the road.
Peace.